I don't, it's hard to say. Okay, we're live then.
Yeah, because
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to turn the sound down.
it's the other one. No, it's that one. There you
There you go.
It's better than this one. Good. That's the first one.
It's done now. No, pretty fast. I know.
It's my most recent thing. I have more stuff. A lot of stuff they make is that if you want to get in 2 weeks notice. That could be.
Looks really good.
I just have to. Yeah. It probably costs like $36. It says save $13. It must be $55.
Check your emails.
I mean, I do a little bit. My future brother-in-law goes, I owns bonds, and I call him, by the way, he's like, oh, I'll get a couple.
That shouldn't happen, so I can follow up with that because I asked him not.
He's the same age as the kid, he was kegerator in his garage. So it's just- he also says-
Okay, I can definitely get you those.
I like that.
Okay, yeah, because I asked him to make sure that wouldn't happen, but. That's all right.
It's a little small. It's kind of a golf. That's others.
Belly cutters are long.
That's right, yeah, and that's the kick is that is pretty easy to make. You just gotta-
I think you may be able to keep up with us.
That's a good point.
It'd be like,
I never use a rake either because I'm not in the bunker ever, so.
Ellie, what's the link?
Link for,
This?
well, they can either get it on our Facebook page or go to our website at minotparks.com under COVID-19 updates, and it's streaming there too.
or just go to YouTube and search my parks.
Hello, this is Becky. I'm on the line.
Hi, Becky. Thanks, this one.
I got some things I can send to him, and there's one to him. I don't want other people to see what I can send to him.
Understand.
So I see there's a couple of question marks on here. Wall has to be within 6 inches to be whole, question mark.
Yeah, we're still trying to decide what. You miss my 6
I was gonna say, you would give me that.
You have to make that one. You make it, leave it there. This is the latest update. Steve will work on it right. So we have to, of course, but these are the major things that are ready.
Yes.
Go slow.
You're staring at it. Hey Cliff, are you on the phone yet?
I am, Emily, I'm here.
Perfect.
I can see you and Mr. Emery and Merritt and Mr. Smith.
And Mr. Olson and Mr. Wharton are here too, but we're just social distancing, so we can't fit everybody on the screen.
That worked. This was pretty good.
We can hear you just fine, Cliff.
Good.
Maybe don't do that.
Today with that card, the springs were so bad, and I asked Blaine about, like, me and Doug said, if you bought them, now we're going back. Cause I'm sure it was a card that you got from our golf course, right? And you put the seat on there, or had the seat on
Did
there.
have the seat on it.
So they put it on one that wasn't reinforced
Yeah.
for me. Cause all of a sudden the back end is like this, thing,
Yeah.
4 inches higher than it was before. And both of you stand on there, but it doesn't move.
That's what I
I will call the April 1st special board meeting of my Park District to order. Start pledge allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, on this special meeting, we have two items on the agenda. A update on the ongoing operations from the COVID-19 things in the Minot Park District, and bid opening on the Polaris Park bid. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Merritt to give us a little update on what's going on.
All right, I will give you an update. You may need other people to add to this, but I'll give you the highlights of what we've been doing. If you guys watched the governor's press conference at 4 o'clock, he has officially extended the date for us to have our facilities closed until April 20th. So we will shift things to that. He hadn't officially extended it when President Trump did extend it to the 30th of April. So we're going to use April 20th now for our date for keeping our indoor facilities closed, and all competitive sports are on hold right now. We have been doing a director's call, conference call once a week, trying to keep up with across the state with park districts to see what everyone else is doing. We're trying to keep everyone on the same page and do the same things if possible. No, that's not always possible, but for the most part, we are on the same page with all of the other park districts in the state with how we are operating right now, with a few minor differences, but the outdoor facilities, we're all on the same page with those. Employee update, just quickly, since we met 2 weeks ago, we have a couple of employees that are working mainly from home, coming in when they need to. We have one employee that is more in than out. We have one employee staying home because a family member possibly was exposed to COVID-19, no positive test involved in that, but staying away until we know for sure. All the other employees are at work, working and doing all kinds of different projects. We're taking the time to go through all of our indoor facilities, deep cleaning, doing extra projects, painting, refinishing floors, going through storage rooms, catching up on maintenance projects, so things that we may normally push off until another time of the year, we're able to do now and get some things caught up and have our facilities ready for an opening date here at some point in our future. Outdoor facilities, parks and trails are open, playgrounds are open as well. We are not promoting people to swarm our playgrounds and use them heavily, but our parks, trails, and playgrounds are public properties that they were not designed to be closed easily. So we're taking steps that we feel are prudent to make sure that they are safe, knowing that we would have a very hard time closing those properties off. So at this point, our playgrounds, for example, we hired a company to steam clean all of the playgrounds. We are also going to disinfect them a couple times a week. We feel that's prudent. We're doing the same thing with our restrooms. Early on, and we have a couple of restrooms that we've kept open, but we've had some issues with those, people stealing toilet paper and other things like that are happening. We've kind of persevered and kept those open. If things get worse with those, we may have to do something different. We've also talked, and trying to get the message out through social media and our local media outlets that we will be watching these areas and breaking up large congregations of people if we do see them. We're asking everybody to follow the CDC guidelines and the guidelines from the health department, from our governor, as far as keeping the group sizes small, getting out and getting fresh air and using and enjoying what we have to offer, but also being responsible for yourselves when you're using these facilities, keeping your distance, not grouping up. Basketball is an area where we had a couple of complaints that we will be watching to try and make sure that those courts aren't getting used with large groups. Tennis has been getting used when the weather cooperates. That's a fairly safe sport. You have a net and a person on each side of it and a large court space. That seems to be fine, but we also have spectators, so we have to kind of watch those areas. But we are asking people to take responsibility for themselves, self-police. We will be watching as well. Baseball and softball fields, our competitive fields are all closed and locked. But we do have some fields at the North Hill and South Hill complex that are open, that would normally be open, that people can use if they want to go play catch or hit a ball or do something like that. They're no different than our other outdoor park areas. No competitive sports will be taking place, but those have remained open at this point. Then the golf course is the other thing that we have a set of procedures to get the golf course open. They're opening in other parts of the state, Bismarck and Mandan specifically. And Steve has put together a recommendation for how to operate. Jared, Scott, Ellie, and myself have gone through it as well. You guys now have a copy of it. If you have any comments, please let us know. But as soon as the weather turns decent, we plan on opening the golf course, the driving range and the course itself. So those are the highlights for how we're operating right now. Things are going as well as can be expected. We're not having major problems with our patrons. We feel like when we drive around and look, people are following the rules as best as we can tell. And we will be continuing to watch, and if people call and complain, we'll immediately go and check out the situation and see what we can do. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is there any park districts, recreation, are they doing anything different? Is anybody shutting anything down throughout the state or anything?
Not at this point. We just talked. Everyone has their playgrounds open and their parks and trails are open. Kind of having the same, we have a few people commenting on those areas, but some, UV light does to a certain extent help us in this situation with outdoor facilities. We're taking an extra step and trying to use some other treatments that we would use in our other facilities to try and help as well. No one has closed their playgrounds down at this point within our state that we know of. And our health unit at the press conference earlier this week also supported that idea, as well as our mayor. And our governor has supported it publicly in his press conferences. He's hit trails and parks, he's hit playgrounds, and he's also hit golf courses. So I think we're in good standing with those at this point. We're still going to do what we can to make sure they're safe for everyone, so to the best of our ability. People do have to take responsibility for their own actions, and if they don't feel safe, please don't use the facilities.
And you say you are going out and checking to make sure, 'cause I know that I received a call when I talked, the board members know that there was a concern out there about the playgrounds. Initially it was about the parks, but after the discussion, it comes down playgrounds. And we may not in this state be doing it, but I know in other areas, they are putting up the snow fencing around the playgrounds as a visual reminder to stay off. But I think that's something that if we start having issues, you're right, parents should be responsible enough to understand they should be probably not a safe thing to do with a lot of kids, but I think that might have to be a step that we would consider taking if necessary.
I agree if we did, and the same with any large gatherings, in other areas as well. If it's basketball, tennis, or just big parties or anything like that, we're gonna have to keep our eyes open and also we'll field calls and try and do what we can. We need help from PD will certainly ask, but we would like to keep the same mantra that our governor has talked about, limited government intervention and self-policing. So that's the stance that we've taken in all of our facilities at this point.
Other questions?
With our last meeting, when all this was just kicking off, we were kind of winging it, for lack of a better word. And I know Pete's here now. We know you have requirements for individuals that travel out, and you put, for lack of a better word, travel restrictions. Is that, we can do that, or we can do travel restrictions on our employees?
to the extent we have put a travel restriction. We want to know if people are leaving. We want it to be a necessary trip, necessary travel, no unnecessary travel. Now, how is that defined? You know, it's on a case by case basis. So we're asking them to let us know and give us a chance to say yes or no. I would say, you know, we can't force them to not go somewhere, but there will be consequences if they do. That's how we're handling it right now.
The state has implemented, the state like has a list of, if you come back from Arizona, you're supposed to hang out for 2 weeks, right? But if you go to South Dakota, you don't, correct? I mean, I think that was Monday.
There's a list of
That
28
came
states.
And there's certain states that are hot spots, whatever they want to say, and others aren't.
I know at the national level, there's definitely
Seems like a pretty-
restrictions as well, so.
That could be a guide maybe for, maybe we don't have people going right now, but.
Check the Norfolk Health website, they have a list.
But we've not had any issues that I'm aware of at this point. People are willingly following that. They don't want to endanger, you know, the employees don't want to be endangered by the other employees, and they kind of all are, they're all in the same boat, so they're working together. Not having an issue with that at this point, so.
We're just gonna stay the course then.
And you're comfortable with it? Eventually, I assume eventually Mesa Arena is going to be clean.
Yes.
We have a plan for those guys to help out in other areas, or?
So Bob has 3 employees that by the end of this week are going to get shifted into the horticulture area to help Shannon. She's full speed ahead. Our outdoor parks are open and we're going to be mowing and cleaning and planting flowers and all of that. So she's going to need the help, and that will keep us from having to hire extra seasonal employees, you know, sooner than we need to. So they will be working in other areas, and we'll do the same thing in our other departments as help is needed in other facilities, and some of these major facilities that are sitting idle get cleaned. We'll shift employees to the outdoors and help get things set up for the summer season.
And we cut the ice in at Mesa, or we're coming up? That's right.
President Emery, we have 1 sheet of ice in right now. The set point is in the mid-20s right now. With the efficiency of the new plant, I mean, it's running, you know, as minimally as it is, because there's no activity on the ice, no water being added, it's just sitting there. So.
You have Mr. Gilmer, our arena manager, put together a report on his status with everything. The other part of this is we're still moving ahead with the repair of the middle rink. So we have to keep the ice out of the west rink. That one would typically be the one that would stay in. So we're going to keep it in at the Mesa. If the 20th holds and we can open things back up again at that point, we'd be ready to go. We'd have some major revenue coming in for the first week or 2 that we feel it's worth keeping that sheet in and ready to go. If this were extended out longer, we'd definitely be talking about it, but about taking that one out as well. And we're not the only ones in the state that have made this call. I know when Bismarck had 2 sheets in, they were going down to 1, but they were going to keep 1 in as well. The other park districts have at least 1 if they normally keep 1 in. Some of them don't keep their ice in, so they just took them all out. So that right now, that's our status. We're tracking utility bills as we know how much we pay per month, and we have a little bit of a comparison now with 1 sheet out versus from last year to this year. We can look month to month and see what the difference is with that, but we don't have a good way to track it. So we'll have a month of tracking it, so we'll know exactly how much that 1 sheet costs with the rest of the building completely idle.
When were we supposed to start the chiller replacement?
May 10th. It is in the packet that,
It just, Had thought about that with the border being closed,
And,
how that would affect.
and again, President, as of, at this point, everything still is on schedule and they are working through that. And if they can get people here earlier, we will try to do some items before the chiller gets here, but it is in production right now.
Able to cut the trenches in the concrete and do that part of it and get everything ready, so we'll be able to do that ahead of time. Because we have the whole building closed now, and that'll make that a lot easier.
Do we, I don't know if it's gonna happen, do we have any state softball or baseball tournaments here? We don't, for high school, we don't have anything.
Not that I know of, and
For high school,
High school, state,
not for high school.
okay, high school, state, or softball or baseball.
There will be no school activities, period.
So, but
They
yeah,
haven't canceled them
just
yet.
seeing, we have.
They're suspended.
pushed them off a little
They're
longer.
suspended. They're not canceled. They just did that this week.
Any other questions on the COVID-19?
We're still going forward with all our signing up for activities and all that, right? We're not,
That's correct.
we're not kiboshing anything or
We're gonna
making people think it's.
extend the start times.
Saying that.
Yeah, so we will be, sending out a press release tomorrow. We just wanted to meet tonight, but, I believe that our plan is that we're gonna have people sign up and our programming doesn't start till after June 1st. So we certainly hope we can have a great summer with everybody and that's what we're promoting. Right now, our big thing is we have our program online, our summer brochure, but we're not able to hand them out. So trying to come up with a safe, creative plan to get those in the hands of families so they can start getting excited about when hopefully all of this ends. So our plan is to send that out and get people excited and we start being able to sign up.
Minutes?
I'll just say overall, our staff is doing a great job handling this well. It's stressful at times, you can see that in them, but they're doing a great job and they're anxious to know when they can start getting ready for summer. And for our outdoor facilities, we're gonna go ahead and do that. So I think they're doing a great job. This is something that we haven't dealt with, so they're handling it well, cleaning public areas and being, potentially exposed, and they're doing a great job with all of it. So thanks to all of them for getting through this and putting contingency plans together on short notice to deal with the restrictions that we need to deal with to keep everyone safe. They're very creative and coming up with ways to get it done. So I thank them.
We should probably give Scott and Ann and Tom and everybody involved with Rec Track. This is a really good year for all of our signups to be online, and that has not been an easy process, so.
That's a
Thanks
huge
for-
bonus right now.
Yeah, it
Their
really
office
is.
closed and everything else, they're still able to do their business with us and stay away and not have contact. It's great, so.
All right,
Mr.
let's
President,
Yes.
question for our director. I appreciate the job you and the staff have been doing the last 2 weeks. We, Grant gave the direction, I think, to move forward and make the decisions, and I think it's done that well. Do we need to consider some type of continued resolution, or does our attorney have any additional advice? Moving forward from this point, but keeping things probably in the same, direction with you, leading the charge on that.
Mr. President
Commissioner Hubbard.
Commissioner Hubland, yeah, I believe that, our last meeting, we passed a resolution where we would continue to move forward. The administration will make calls as they deem necessary if they're within their purview until further action by the board. So I don't know that there is a need at this particular point in time to bring another resolution forward and vote on that unless we are intending to act in a manner different than what we previously approved by the board. So, Commissioner, I hope that answers your answer or your question.
Yeah, it does exactly. I think that's good. The last 2 weeks to the point where we're at, has proven that to be the exact right decision and resolution. So if we can just continue it, I think that's perfectly fine.
And Mr. Merritt has been contacting me and, we've talked about a lot of things that they are doing. And if something comes up that I feel we need to have the whole board involved with or discuss, we would call a special meeting.
Sounds good.
We're looking forward to the day that we can go back to complete normal again, so.
What are our plans for our April board?
Right now, I would just say that we take our regular date for early April board meeting, which would be 3 weeks from yesterday. I don't know that we need to throw another one between now and then. Unless something comes up.
And we're gonna be in person.
We'll meet here,
Meet the same way.
need to do it the same way, yeah. Like Commissioner Hall does, at home on the phone, if you feel necessary to do that, you're more than welcome to. But I don't think we need to meet before 3 weeks.
Unless something comes up, and I'll let you know right away.
Move on to the players bid park bid.
Here, handle that.
If it's all right, I'll stay where I'm at. Park Board President, Commissioners, we opened up the Polaris Park improvements last week. Very, very competitive bids. If you kind of look on page 2, it'll give all the bidders. We have DLC Construction, Height Construction, Matson Construction, Rolac Contracting, and R&K Contractors. Again, the bids range from our low bid with DLC at $594,400 all the way up to $788,680. That's construction costs, not included in A&E fees. So again, we were very happy with the way they came in. So at this point, we would like for you guys to, accept the bid of $594,400 from DLC Construction.
I'll make the motion to accept the bid of $594,400.
I'll second.
All right, we have a bid, or you have a motion and a second discussion.
Is that local DLC construction?
Yeah, right around here, yes.
Just all of the alternates that we asked for are included in this bid as well.
So I can just put that how it is. Cliff?
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of the bid spec, bid numbers?
I know, I can hear the 594 number.
Okay, that is a little bit of the 5 bids that we have.
Yeah. And that's what the motion is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
One more, just quickly. Total project cost $755,647. That includes the A&E cost. We have approved that previously. That would be the total project for what's left to pay out for A&E fees as well as the bid.
The 594,400 is strictly to the contractor.
Correct.
Roll call, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Pavda,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Morton,
Yes.
Emery.
Yes.
Sorry, I have one comment again. It did, even with all the A&E fees and everything, it did come in under estimated budget by $312,860. So we hope that continues because our water slide was also under, the first bid pack was under budget or under estimate. So we hope the the rest of the summer come in that way also.
did get one question on this, like just a quick. So the total cost of this project is less than our initial estimate. We used the initial estimate when we were putting our bonding package together. When we do the actual bond sale, if we have a bid, we will use the bid number, not the estimated number, so our bond amount that we will be asking for will go down. And we'll see what we get with our other bids as well. So that's good news.
Yes. Any other business to discuss on the COVID-19 or the bid process? I will, like I said, we'll have our regular board meeting on April what? 21st, thank you. And if there are no other questions on the two items, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.